Hey everyone, welcome back to Gadget Power Play. Today we're looking something a little bit futuristic, the Viture Luma Ultra glasses. Now these are built as XR or AR smart glasses, or whatever you want to call it these days, that turn your phone, laptop or console into a massive virtual display. So we're going to unbox them, test them in real world use and see what's great, what's not so great, and give you my perspective from a busy dad with a full-time job, doing this in his own free time. I'm just somebody who enjoys a little bit of technology and got these at my own expense, so none of the pesky product promotions or trying to encourage you to buy it or something like that as a marketing campaign or overly complex hardcore stuff. Just a bit of day-to-day fun and usage from somebody who enjoys using technology and technological innovations. So without further ado, let's get started. And one thing that I really loved when I plugged these on, I'm just going to put them on and make use of the Neckband Pro here, and you see how snugly they fit, right? They just look like a regular pair of glasses, and with the Neckband Pro around my neck, looks like I've got one of those fan blowing thingies that people seem to love. And one thing that I loved, and the first time I plugged them in, and something that I'm sure you will enjoy as well, is this futuristic glow up. Right, I don't know if it's come on yet. Maybe it needs me to switch this on. Right, you hear that buzzer? So it just takes a second or two as the device powers on, and then there you go. Did you see that? Yeah, I'm just going to play a B-roll again so that you can have a proper look at it. So this made me super impressed and excited, as I had not seen this detail in any one of the reviews that I had watched prior to getting these, and this made me feel super tacky and real Tony Stark indeed. A more commonly praised feature that these items also have is the lens darkening option. I don't know what they call it, chroma deck dimming or something like that, where you've got a little button somewhere here. All right, it's at the bottom here, that changes the outlook of the glasses. So can you see that there's this black tint that's on top here? I permanently can't see anything about this area, right? About this area, I can't see much, but there is light that passes through here, so I can literally see as if I'm just looking through normal glasses. I know it's a bit tinted, but it gets even darker once you press this button here. I don't know if you can see the difference here. I'm just going to press that. There you go. So that's gone considerably darker, and that gives me a much deeper immersive view. And if I tap it again, it comes off and you can see a little bit clearer. Tap it one more time, it tints, and I'm in a more immersive experience. Tap it again, comes off. So without this dimming option, the information integrates very well with the rest of the room. It doesn't give the impression that you've got virtual objects that are just floating in the environment, but it really feels as if the display is part of the environment. I don't know if that makes any sense. And I'm just comparing here with your traditional larger headsets that can give you different options of objects to view. I'm just going to turn this off for a minute so that it doesn't distract me when I'm talking. So essentially the display, or what I'm actually viewing, just feels as if it's there. It's integrated with my furniture, with my surroundings. It just feels present, if you know what I'm trying to say. So maybe I'm just getting ahead of myself here, but let's take it from the top and describe the actual glasses themselves. Exactly what are the Luma Ultra? These are wearable display glasses from Viture that provide a virtual screen experience. According to Viture, they are designed for power users and industry professionals alike. And here are some of the specs, or the headline specs and features that they support. They support a large virtual display. Viture talk about a screen size of up to 150 inches, which is equivalent, 152 inches actually, which is equivalent in some modes. All I can say is, when using these, I've got a 65-inch screen in my living room, and when I put them on in my standard sitting position on my couch, my traditional TV screen doesn't even compare. I wish I could record this, but it's very difficult because I can only see the overlay, and the cameras themselves, they don't actually take pictures of the environment. They just take pictures of, not pictures per se, but then they just project the image into my eyes, and the cameras is just for hand tracking. So I'm so told. But the screen from these appears to cover my entire walls from one end to another end. I'm telling you, it's blooming awesome. It's just huge, right? So it literally covers the entire wall. And with the Neckband Pro, I can actually adjust my screen so that I can make it smaller or make it larger, such that at some points I can't even see the entire screen. I have to move from left to right in order to be able to see each corner of the screen. But of course, you can shrink that down to your preference, whatever makes sense to you, based on what you're trying to see. If you want to really zoom into a certain aspect of the screen, you can actually do that, and this remains ultra clear. So they use the micro-OLED panels provided by Sony. I don't know if you can see that. That provides really sharp visuals and high brightness and contrast. And I always use these at the lowest setting that I can get, because the higher settings are way too bright for me, my sensitive eyes. And the field of view that's provided is about, they say it's 52 degrees on the Ultra model according to the announcement. And they also support this myopia adjustment, so you don't really need to wear your glasses if you've got some prescriptions, which is perfect for me, because I don't know if that's the differentiating factor, because I once tried the XREAL Airs and I was a bit disappointed in the result, and I sent them back within 24 hours. I really couldn't even keep them for a day. I tried them. I even asked some of my family members to have a look at it and tell me their opinion, and it seemed that it wasn't just my experience, but this really is a game changer, because you don't really need to go through the extra expense of trying to get prescriptions. I don't know, maybe some people will need to, but my experience is that these adjustments are perfect for most people, and swapping them amongst the family members, everybody was able to find something that matches their eyesight. So it's not that the XREAL Airs were not decent, just that they didn't meet my expectations. And this was my first foray in virtual reality and XR or AR glasses. So this was they didn't meet my expectations, which was a more virtual and immersive feel. However, the Viture Luma Ultra have turned out to be quite a formidable, device, and they're designed to connect via USB-C or HDMI to a phone or tablet or a console. So of course they use this proprietary charger here that just connects, just snaps into place on the glasses. It's got a magnetic connection, and I tried this on my laptop. The other end, of course, it's got a USB-C, standard USB-C, and iPhone, and it worked very well. However, when I connected it to my Android devices, I've got the Fire tablets, and they couldn't do much, because I couldn't even mirror the screen or maintain power to the glasses themselves. So you need to make sure that your device supports port over USB-C. And some additional features that you need to look out for is that the Luma Ultras offer is that software support for 2D into 3D, which works well when it does. So essentially, what this means is, for most channels, for example, on YouTube, you're actually able to convert the content and into a more 3D feel, so that you feel as if you're present in that particular location. It does get some getting used to be able to do it effectively in terms of switching modes. And there is actually one mode that I really don't understand, which displays two identical streams in my field of view. So I don't get what that mode is for, but if you know, let me know in the comments. So essentially, if you haven't come across it before, even if I close one eye, right, and I leave one eye open, I can see two screens, the same screen, display twice on one display. I don't know what that is for, and it works both sides, exact same thing. I don't know what that is. If you do know, let me know in the comments, because I really can't be bothered to go through the manuals, and to be honest, who has the time? But if you figured it out, let me know. So in short, you plug this on, and you ride into an immersive personal theater or flexible workstation, and you are able to experience virtual reality. So these are quite convenient, as you can see. Some people say you can actually walk around in the streets whilst watching something. I don't know. I wouldn't want to risk it, and I also wouldn't want to get weird stares from the public. Have you seen somebody walking around in the street with this? Let me know what you think. Is this something that you would do? I'm not brave enough to do that at the moment. But anyway, let's talk about the unboxing experience for this. Right, here we go. So the package comes in a lovely box with some holographic effects. Very nice touch there from Viture. And once you open it, you get this little cover there with little plastic with some instructions and stuff that I'll never use. So I'll throw that to the side. And then you've got a little pouch cover there that's got all your instruction manuals, your cleaning cloth, some covers for the cameras, I believe, more instructions. We'll chuck that to the side, have a look at it later. And a little box, and inside you've got your nose pads, depending on the size that you want, some rubbers, some replacement rubbers, and these are magnetic, so they're getting stuck together. And you can see the little clippy things there that just snap into place, so that you get your comfortable fit. We'll put that to the side. And the actual carrying case, soft plastic, very nice. And the star of the show, the glasses, very light. It's about 88 grams, I believe, and very premium looking, nice feel to them. And what else is in the carrying case? And I actually took these out earlier on because I was so excited. But I'll just show you the connection charger here that was put inside. We've got the little proprietary connection and the USB-C on the other side. So let's just put that to the side. Let's have a look at the glasses again. The lenses there by Sony. Nice Viture logo there. And the front, very premium. And the bendy arms, as you can see, you can shape those to your face. And there you have it, folks. What do you think? Lovely. No, the build, of course, feels quite light and it's not oppressive at all. The frame is relatively comfortable and you can adjust the position up or down, right? So on both sides, you can adjust this. Okay, up or down. There you go. Up or down to match your particular needs and preferred line of sight. And the arms in the diopter dial to adjust your focus. Now, when I was watching a lot of these reviews for different types of glasses, I would see somebody straining their neck like this, looking and pretending that they're having a lot of fun and enjoying and that they can spend hours like that. I don't know about you, but this is not my natural resting position. And a lot of people would, of course, are used to looking down at their phone like this. But the Viture gives you this option essentially of looking straight ahead, so you can sit upright. You don't have to strain your neck. You don't get that hunchback that comes from years of looking down at your phone. So which is something really impressive about this. So kudos to Viture about this. And the Viture Luma line actually quite pleasant, and you can wear them comfortably without straining your neck. And you will need to take your time to get the right fit. If the glasses aren't aligned well with your eyes or IPD, you lose that sharpness that is the major benefit of these, and you find parts of the screen cut off. And I spent the first few tries with the standard option that came pre-fitted, as I thought these were the best, but later changed to a larger or a longer bridge. So these just snap out and snap back into place. So this is the option that I ended up going for because this was a better fit for me. And to be honest, I've got no idea about my IPD as I've been artfully dodging visits to the optician, but I found that adjusting these was pretty easy and intuitive, and I'm sure you will as well. So far so good. And now for the real test. How do they perform in different use cases? And for movies or content watching, this is where they shine, or doom scrolling via the phone or tablet, and you can fire up Netflix, YouTube, or other streaming services to get a massive virtual display in front of your eyes and mirror your screen, or use the SpaceWalker app to get even more options. Or you can even use your phone like a pointer when you're using the SpaceWalker app or a mouse pad. For me, I found that the pointer option was a bit fidgety and disappointing and utterly unusable, despite relying on it, despite trying it on various technologies. And I found that the better option was the trackpad, although it's still a little bit finicky and frustrating. And I hope future software updates are going to improve the user experience or future iterations. But as of now, it's a little bit of a nightmare. Even the hand tracking, it's you have to make sure that you're in very, very good lighting. And sometimes even when you're wearing gloves, it tends to miss that. And especially for somebody with a darker complexion like mine, sometimes it misses things a lot. So you need to make sure that you're in a very, very good lighting for that to work well. And there's also the 2D to 3D conversion effect that can make standard content feel very, very immersive. And I would compare it to, the spatial viewing experience that you get when you shoot videos on the iPhone and then export that to the Quest 3. I don't know how it feels when you're seeing it on the iPad, on the what do you call it, by the way? The Apple's Vision Pro. That's the word I'm looking for. So it's pretty good in that you can get that level of realistic imaging on a pair of glasses with such a form factor, because previously I would take those videos and the only way to be able to consume that content is to put on this heavy item. So sometimes that would be a little bit of a put off, having to put this on. But if you've got something as small as this, is very convenient, and you can just put this on, like that, and that feels much, much better. So in terms of other aspects, like gaming, I'm not so much of a gamer myself, but you can connect by HDMI or USB-C to a handheld console or PC. So basically, I've never gotten down to testing this on a handheld. Maybe I'll get one in the future, purely for research purposes, of course. But for now, just the phone and laptop experience as an extended large display is quite brilliant for me. And although the experience that you get largely depends on your hardware, the cables, adapters, drivers, and software maturity, what Viture have done is to create a baseline product, which is the glasses, and added a whole bunch of accessories like the neckband, the dock, the cables, and which you pick and choose depending on what you really need. But this has the obvious result of driving up the cost quite significantly. So I don't know whether this is to do with trying to reduce the cost of the product, or trying to get as many options and ways to milk as much from the consumer. Let me know what you think, because with competition pricing basically being the Wild West, you've got glasses starting from the low hundreds to thousands of pounds based on specs and models, and it's very difficult to figure out what's a really fair price, because you're looking at these costing upwards of 500 quid, and these going over 250 pounds. You're looking 800 to 1,000 pounds for the basic accessories. So I don't know whether this is the price that you have to pay for breakthrough innovations, or this is the inevitable high cost of early adoption, which will go down with the improvement as the glasses get better. But who knows? Tell me in the comments. Do you think we're being fairly charged for this in 2025? Let me know. And in terms of productivity and how you use this, if you're going to be using it for work use as a monitor replacement, which is what I initially started trying to do when I got the XREAL S, and they turned out to be a disappointment, because a lot of the software needs you to install software on your computer or device. Even if you're using the Meta's software needs to be installed. But as for this is just plug and play. You just plug in your cable, no extra no extra downloads, no extra software. You just connect it and you use like that. Unless, of course, if you're going to be using the SpaceWalker app, but that's for additional use. But for basic use, they will still work without any additional software being downloaded. So if you're going to be using it for coding, browsing, opening multiple windows, the idea is very appealing because it's a massive virtual screen wherever you are. If you're on a flight, if you're in a restaurant, and early adopters say that this works. But note that current software for pinning windows using the 6 degrees of tracking is a little bit less polished. The 3 degrees of freedom is a little bit better because it just follows your eyesight wherever you're looking. But if you're going to be pinning the screen anywhere, it tends to move and shift and drift quite a little more often than I would prefer. Meaning that there's still a bit of room for improvement, but I think it's doable, especially because all the technology is there, the cameras, the tracking, everything is there. It's just a matter of refining the software a little bit. For example, as the Vision Pro and the Quest 3 have managed to do. So from my perspective, here's a breakdown of the trade-offs that you're going to be looking at. The pros are that you're going to get stunning image clarity and of a very massive size. I would describe the text and detail as very crisp and razor sharp. This is very comfortable for longer wear compared to some full-size VR headsets, because you're going to get less pressure on your open face and your head. And I mean, I'll get the proper sizes and put them in the screen for you. But definitely you can see that this is a much better form factor. However, you're still going to get a certain level of dryness around the eyes after lengthy sessions. And I try to blink as much as possible, but not so sure how much that helps. But what I love about this is you're going to get versatile connection options, your phone, your tablet, your laptop, console, and that extra 2D to 3D software is really, really incredible. And that myopia adjustment that's built in, so you don't have to worry about that, and you can adjust this for any of your, your sites, and you can pass it between family members, and it still works well. And it's also lightweight and portable. So you can literally just put this, and just carry it along with you as you go, right? Or put it in your pocket or whatever. And as compared to bigger headsets, that you don't get that option. And something to watch out for, of course, is you need to make sure that you adjust this correctly, because a misalignment or the wrong nose pad can lead to a suboptimal experience. But it's a bit of a big stretch because for a con, because it's really easy to set up and adjust at any point. And on the PC or console side, the software is still catching up, but there's still room for improvement. And on keeping the screen position in place, there's still room for improvement there as well. And while the image is huge, the pinning in 6 degrees of freedom, or walking around like you leave the screen here as if it's fixed in place and you come back, that pinning in space or 6D or F experience isn't as robust as some full VR headsets yet. And for some streaming devices, getting them to work in the correct mode, 2D to 3D, might be a bit more complex. And a lot of times I really don't have the time or patience to get past the learning curve if that can be done. And it ought to be fairly simple and intuitive, but right now it's not. And the battery life of the accessories, I haven't tried the dock itself, but in terms of the neckband, these tend to run out quickly. So the accessory ecosystem does take the cost up quite significantly, and this battery runs out quickly in about 2 hours. If I plugged it into my phone does tend to get heat up very quickly, and the battery drains quite quickly as well. So, and the other disadvantage of having this is it starts to strain your neck after a while. It's a little bit heavy, not so much, but sometimes when you're just used to moving around without anything around, that your neck, just having this tends to make you feel like a little bit of like a cow that has those that's pulling a wagon or something. and it's literally wearing a miniature desktop, a computer on your neck, you know, complete with the irritating fan speed, spinning fans. So you can see that, you know, you've got these fans that blow hot air out of them as trying to cool down the device itself. And this also does get a little bit noisy when you're using it sometimes. So if you're going to buy them expecting a flawless VR replacement quality, you may be a little bit disappointed because it's almost there, but it's not quite. But if you buy them for the immersive viewing or gaming on the go, or a giant virtual monitor, you're likely going to be thrilled. It works best as a screen duplication with a few extras. The additional features show quite a bit of promise, but there's still work to be done. But overall, I can see them giving the larger headsets a run for their money. That's my perspective on that. So, who should buy these? Viture, I always say Viture, Luma Ultra, and who should maybe wait? These are a good fit for people or movie or TV lovers who want a big screen anytime, anywhere, and for gamers who travel or want a portable setup for handheld consoles so that you'll be streaming on the go, and creative or productivity folks who want a large screen to be able to view virtual workspace rather than carrying a monitor, as well as tech enthusiasts who enjoy playing with cutting-edge technology and gear and are comfortable with dealing with the occasional wrinkles that come with that, with being early adopters. And maybe wait if you prioritize a rock-solid plug-and-play style workflow, especially on PC, and don't want to tinker, or you expect a full VR level tracking and pinning in space right now. The tech is headed there, but it's not perfect yet. You know what I mean? And or if you're on a tight budget and you can get by with a large monitor rather than a wearable display, then you can get that. So what's my final verdict on this? The Luma Ultra punches quite well above its weight in delivering immersive visuals in a compact form. Look at this is brilliant. Its clarity, comfort, and portability are very compelling. However, it remains a map of what the future displays could look like, rather than everything perfect today. So if you're excited about the concept of ready to accept some trade-offs, then this is one of the most exciting devices I've used lately in the wearable display space. If you just want something that works perfectly out of the box with zero fuss, you might want to wait for the next iteration. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you found this review helpful, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next upload. It might be tomorrow, it might be next week, nobody knows, but stay tuned, something is coming from a busy dad. If you own the Luma Ultra already, drop your experience in the comments below. What worked, what didn't, I would love to know. And until next time, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next upload. Cheers.